Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Small Talk. I am going to make a very interesting video today. I came across a fatwa of a Molvi today, and the title was Mars is Haram. Mars, the planet Mars is haram. कि Mars सियारे पे जाना haram है. And it just caught my curiosity, and I was like, what? Why is Mars haram? So I read into the detail, and it said such and such scholar has suggested the people who are trying to go to Mars, and all these scientists are trying to go to Mars, they are going to die a haram death. And the explanation they gave was that because they know the life doesn't exist on Mars, so this will be considered a suicide, and suicide is haram in our religion. And that's why if any Muslim scientist tries to go to Mars, basically they're going to commit suicide and they're going to rot in hellfire for eternity. And I was like, whoa, that's some serious fatwa, It's like, that is not how Islam works. So then I remember an ayah of the Quran. It said that the best Muslims are those who remember Allah all the time and who pay attention to the creations of the heavens and the earth. So how do we pay attention to the creation of the heaven, of the earth, the things that Allah has created? Obviously, we have to experiment them. The scientists do just that. They do pay attention to the creation of the heavens and the earth, and they try to figure out how it was created, and that's what Allah is demanding from us. And I just quoted you the meaning of the ayah of the Quran. We just have to remember Him, and we have to find out the foundation of the creation of the heavens and the earth, and that's what makes us the best of mankind. And the fact that they are giving a fatwa that Mars is haram, it really made me very sad. These are the kind of people who our youth is idolizing them. These are the kind of people who are influencing our youngsters. And these are the kind of people that we go to get the answers to our religious queries, when we know that their mental caliber cannot even comprehend half the things that Allah demands from us. And I explained to you why I don't blame the Molvis, I don't blame these scholars. The reason is, when I was in Pakistan, I remember there was a family in our neighborhood, and two of their kids were mentally not so strong, like maybe they were autistic, I don't know, they have like a minor autism, or maybe they had something else going on. But they were not very good at remembering things. They were not very active. They had some kind of mental illness, and their parents put them in a madrasa. They said, well, बच्चा स्कूल में बड़ा कमज़ोर है तो हमने उसको फिर मदरसे में डाल दिया है कि चलो कुरान पढ़ लेगा. So these are the kids who end up becoming our religious leaders, and they become our go-to person for our religious questions. So obviously then that's what they're going to say, that Mars is haram. Don't go to Mars because you're committing suicide. I was talking to a friend of mine. If she's watching this video, she'll know. And we were talking about buying certain businesses, and she said, well, I don't want to buy this business because you have to sell cigarettes and all that stuff. And I said, well, first of all, cigarette is not haram. You can keep a cigarette at your store. Just don't do lottery and alcohol, and everything else should be okay. You can still make the business run. So why and this is the problem in the West, some of the scholars, they're not from Pakistan, they're from other parts of the world, from like the Middle Eastern countries, from Egypt or Syria and all those places. And they say that cigarette is haram. And again, their logic is because it's injurious to your health, it causes lots of damage to your lungs, and then it blocks your arteries. So you're ultimately committing suicide. It works as a slow poison, so it's haram for you. Well, if you look at that logic, don't drive a car because it's haram for you. You could have a road accident, you could die. Don't fly an airplane because if you have a problem with airplane, good luck surviving from that. Don't eat meat. Red meat is bad for your health. You could die of a heart attack. Don't use the vegetable oils because they block your arteries, so you use a slow poison and you're committing suicide. So that's not how Islam works. This is not the definition of haram and halal in Islam. It's our job to understand how our religion works, and Mars is not haram. Whoever did this research, whoever that scholar is, for God's sake, Muslim Ummah is already lazy enough that they're not even making an effort to do any scientific discoveries whatsoever. Don't send them to a dump even more by saying that doing this kind of research is haram. It's not. It's our job as a human being, as a Muslim, to get to the depths of the creation and get to the bottom of, at least know as much as we can how the universe works, because that's what brings us close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's what keeps us going, and that's what makes our faith strong. For example, recently I came across a video. Somebody had posted this video on Facebook. I usually don't look at that stuff, but it was very interesting, and it was an embryo developing in the womb of a mother over the course of 9 months, and how it turns out to be a baby, and how the baby is born. And boy, oh boy, it was pretty fast recorded video, fast forward type of video. It was like within 2 minutes or something. And I saw the sperm moving and fertilizing the eggs, and then egg dividing, and then making the zygotes, and all the nine yard that if I remember what I read in biology a long, long time ago. Obviously, reading is one thing, but visual is fascinating. And whoever recorded this video, or whoever created that video, has done a wonderful job. And when I saw this, and I was like, Subhanallah, it's like, it's so fascinating to develop a whole new human being from nothing, from a sexual activity which we're even ashamed to talk about. The process that it's created from is like even a taboo in our society. And even to think about that this process will create a new human being, for me as a common person, obviously I'm not a physician, so it's not very everyday kind of thing for me, where it doesn't really, like I don't mind talking about it. Of course I do mind talking about it, but so to me, this whole thing just fascinated me, and that strengthened my faith in Allah even more. And I was reading another fun fact about human body, and it said if we were to separate all of our, I think it's the veins, I believe it was, and we spread them, it could go around the world, I think 1 time or 2 times. And it's amazing that they still don't tangle inside our body. And I was looking at I had that wired AirPod, not AirPod, the thing that you put in your ear with the wires. I don't know what they're called. And it tangles all the time. I was walking with it and I was listening to it, and that wire was like tangling over and over again. And I was like, oh my God, I can't even have like a 2 feet long wire stay untangled. And these veins, if I put them side by side, they're gonna go around the world twice, and they don't tangle in my body. And that's amazing. And obviously this cannot be an accident. There has to be someone who designed them and put them at their proper place, so they function the way they're functioning, and we breathe and we live until we exhaust our body, and then one day we return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what strengthens our faith on our God. And you are saying that Mars is haram, so basically you're telling our youngsters not to pursue any career in scientific discoveries, not to try to find out how the universe is working, so they have blind faith, which Allah hates the most. Allah hates blind faith. Allah wants us to question. Allah wants us to look at everything and then define the beauty, and then believe in Him, that yes, you are there. All this cannot be just an accident. It exists because you designed it, or somebody designed it. So whoever that somebody is, we have to believe in it, and believe in it. Whether you're a Muslim or Jew or Christian or Hindu or Buddha or whoever, you have to believe in someone who designed all this. And you can only strengthen that faith if you do the research, if you try to find out how this works. But if you're going to listen to these kind of molvis, then of course it's going to demotivate you, and you're going to say, well, that's haram, so let's just forget about it. I don't want to go to hellfire because of that. There you go, boom. goes away, and a research which may have helped them discover something wonderful which would bring us even close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It may be nothing, but that's how the life works, that's how the world works. We cannot guarantee anything, but we keep on going and keep on doing our part, and then hope that we will get to a conclusion one day. Or if we don't, when we die and we go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we say, oh my Lord God, I tried to do my part and I tried my best, but though it was unsuccessful, but I didn't give up. And I'm sure, I have faith in my God that He will accept that effort and He will take good care of us. Okay, so when I was talking about those veins, I remember a poetry of a very young poet that I came across recently, और मैं उसकी नज़म उर्दू में है, मैं आपको सुनाऊंगी. वो इस तरह से है: रंगो रस की हवस और बस, मसअलाए दस्तरस और बस, उस मुसव्विर का हर शाहकार, 60-65 बरस और बस, यूं बुनी है रगे जिस्म की. वो जो मैं बात कर रही थी ना कि if you कि हमारी रगें, अगर वो जो रगें हैं उनको जोड़ के रखो तो ज़मीन के गिर्द 2 चक्कर लग सकते हैं. तो ये मुझे उस पर ये शेर याद आया है: यूं बुनी है रगें जिस्म की, एक नस टस से मस और बस. So it's just that simple, you know, the way Allah has designed everything. If He just misplaces one of those, that should be enough to kill us. It's just that simple. And then if we don't study science, and if we don't work on learning on how a human physiology works and how a human body works, obviously we'll never get to the bottom of it. And of course, we'll never be able to learn about God and how this is so beautiful and perfect. It cannot be a design without a designer. But that's that. So उसका आखिरी शेर मैं आपको सुना देती हूँ. ये तमाशा कुन ख़त्म शुद, ये तमाशा कुन ख़त्म शुद, कह दिया उसने बस और बस. तो ये एक बहुत खूबसूरत नज़म थी जो मैं मुझे बहुत शौक है उर्दू पोट्री का. मुझे उर्दू अदब से बहुत लगाव है. मेरी उर्दू बहुत अच्छी होती थी एक ज़माने में. अभी तो क्योंकि मैं बहुत कम बोलती हूँ, बहुत कम उर्दू पढ़ती हूँ, तो थोड़ा सा मुझे मुश्किल होता है कंटिन्यूसली उर्दू बोलना. लेकिन मैं फिर भी उर्दू की शायरी वगैरह को मैं बहुत अच्छे से अब्जॉर्ब कर लेती हूँ, और जो चीज़ें मुझे पसंद आती हैं मुझे यूँ याद भी हो जाती हैं. तो ये मैं उसकी नज़म सुन रही थी, and it just stuck with me and it stayed with me forever. So to my Muslim friends and followers and viewers, please don't listen to these molvis. Do your own research. Not everything is haram in Islam. Islam is not a very strict religion, and cigarette is not haram. Yes, it's injurious to your health. Sure, don't do it. It's just bad for your health, but it's not prohibited. It's not haram. Similarly, Mars is not haram. Trust me. Go out and do the research. And if you're a young boy and girl and you're studying science or technology or artificial intelligence, please keep on going, keep doing your research. That's what's going to make you a strong Muslim. If you look at the history of Islam, all the good Muslims have done so much in the field of science in the past, and mathematics and biology and physics and chemistry. We read all those popular names when we were very young in high school and college. I remember जब हम मैट्रिक एफएससी वगैरह कर रहे होते थे, तो ये बोली सीना और ख्वारज़मी and all those people, I don't remember their name as much, but we used to study about them and how they discovered so many things. Those were the real Muslims. Muslim in this time and age, they just do the rituals. Pray 5 times a day, do tasbih, do zikr, read Quran, sit down and talk, mashallah, mashallah, subhanallah, subhanallah, and they're empty from inside. They don't even understand the true spirit of our faith. And now these molvis, and they have huge following. They are so strong and powerful. They say something and they gather a crowd of millions of people, and they all listen to them, and they are destroying our Muslim ummah just because of the lack of knowledge that they have. So in the West, in the US, I've seen some people have put their kids into religious schools, but they're very smart children. They're wonderful kids. They're studying in regular schools, and then they're studying in Islamic schools and trying to become scholars of Islam. And when you listen to them and you listen to a Maulvi from Pakistan or India, you can see the clear difference, how how a real Muslim is supposed to be versus how a so-called Muslim or religious scholar is supposed to be. I'm not doubting their Islam or their faith, but they cannot be the role models and leaders of our nation and of Muslim ummah. So please be careful who you get your deen from. There's a saying of a wise man: religious is a very sensitive matter. Please be careful who you get it from. You don't get your religion from everybody. Don't learn it from everyone. Be careful. Go to the right person. When you're searching for the right teacher, you will get to the right teacher. You will find him. Allah will make ways for you to get to the right teacher. I remember when I first started studying Islam, I recorded a video of my journey to become a Muslim. Of course, I was born in a Muslim family, but I was just Muslim because I was born in a Muslim family. That's it. उसे कहते हैं ना, नस्लन मुसलमान की मैं. I had nothing Islam-like in me. Just 5 वक्त की नमाज पढ़ लो, कुरान एक दफ़ा नाजरा पढ़ा दिया टीचर ने, चलो जी आप मुसलमान हो, that's it. And when I started studying my faith, obviously I started listening to YouTube videos, and I started off with all these gali mohalle ke molvi, because everybody has YouTube channel now. And then God took me from my hand and he brought me to this teacher that I really loved the most. And he has been my spiritual teacher, and I have been following him for a long time. Obviously उनसे मेरी मोहब्बत ज़रूर है, रिस्पेक्ट का रिश्ता ज़रूर है, लेकिन उस तरह की अकीदत नहीं है कि उनका हर्फ जो है मैं हर्फ आखिर समझती हूँ. I listened to lots of scholars, lots of people, but he was the one who gave me the true introduction of my religion. And it has nothing to do with me. I don't give myself credit for anything. It's because my intentions were right, and my intentions were truly to understand my religion, and God helped me get to the right person. So that's why I'm saying be careful who you get your religion from. It's a very sensitive matter. You learn your religion from the qualified individual, the person who actually qualifies to teach you. If you're educated yourself, as I made a video earlier, how to study your own deen, learn the basics by yourself. Allah has given you the artificial intelligence. You have the right to understand your faith exactly how you interpret it. किसी और को ठेकेदार मत बनने दें अपने इस्लाम का, क्योंकि आपको अल्लाह ने अकल दी है, तो आप अपनी अकल से उसकी रिसर्च भी कर सकते हैं. You can nullify other people's research as well. Whoever came up with whatever teachings of Islam is not the final word. A final word is ultimately Allah and His Prophet. So try to find the answers which will be closer to Allah and His Prophet's words. And you can do your own researching, and you can do it without a teacher. But if Allah can bless you with a teacher, it's wonderful, because they come handy and they're very helpful. But pick the right teacher. So these kind of molvis will say Mars is haram and cigarette is haram. Please stay away from them, because they will deviate you from the true teachings of our faith. I hope this video helps. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next video, Allah Hafiz.